Hi guys, I'm Maddie. Welcome back to my channel. As you can see by the title, today we are going to be doing tips for your junior year. So without further ado, let's just get right into the video. So I know that most of you guys have heard this for your whole high school career, but it is not to be taken for granted. Take care of your grades, especially during junior year. If you feel like you did kind of sloppy your freshman and sophomore year, junior year is definitely the best chance to up your GPA. Because during senior year, you're going to have a lot of activities and you're probably going to get overwhelmed trying to perfect your GPA. So junior year is the best time to make sure your grades are on top so you don't have to worry about a bad GPA for your senior year. Also, might I note that colleges mostly look at your grades from junior year. Although they do look at your overall grades, I feel like junior year is the year that counts the most because it's the year where you're basically finally settled in high school and you're obviously going to start taking things more seriously. You're growing up, you're upperclassmen. So make sure that you are taking your grades very seriously junior year. This goes into my next tip: do not procrastinate. When you get an assignment, make sure you just do it the same day or the next day. If your assignment is due next week, don't wait until the end of the week to do it. You should be doing it pretty much as soon as you get it if you have the time, because you don't want missing assignments to pile up, and junior year can get really overwhelming with PSATs, standardized testing. You just want to make sure that you have everything together and completed so that you don't overwhelm yourself. So depending on what type of classes that you're taking, it really doesn't matter what type of class you're taking. APs, honors, regular classes, you still need to study. Studying is so helpful. You don't want to always go to Google or ChatGPT if you don't know the answer. If you study, you're actually going to know what you're learning, and that's going to help you for when you take the SATs, the PSATs, any type of standardized testing that you won't be able to search anything up. You need to make sure that you know what you're learning. So definitely study. That also goes in hand with this. Take notes. So that you can study correctly, make sure that you are taking notes in your classes so that you know exactly what you're learning and you can go back on your lessons. My junior year, I made sure I took notes a lot. The majority of my classes, I made sure to write down in my notebook important points that my teacher was saying. And sometimes when I got back home, I just reminded myself about what I learned for that day so that I can stick it in my brain, because we're not going to ever know what we're learning if we just look at the material once and then push it to the side. It's really smart to come home, even if you don't have any homework, come home and just review what you learned today so that it can stick in your mind for when you need that information again. So if you plan on taking the SATs and your school does not provide a free PSAT test, I suggest that you go on, I'm pretty sure, do not quote me, but I think it's called Blue Book. And that's the actual software that they use for the PSATs. They have a whole bunch of practice tests on there. So I suggest during your junior year to get started with practicing for the SATs now. There's many times where you can take the SATs. Me personally, I'm taking them as a senior. But if you plan on taking them as a junior, then I definitely suggest to go on that app and start taking your practice tests right now. Okay, I'm gonna push aside from the academic aspect for a little bit and let's just get into the regular everyday stuff. Make sure that you have routines. Junior year can get stressful, and something that definitely helped me, keeping myself together, was having written down morning and night routines. So when I got home from school, I immediately did my homework. I picked out my outfit for the next day, took a shower, brushed my teeth, all that good stuff. Because I had structure, I was very organized and I wasn't overwhelmed or all over the place when I came home from school or when I woke up in the morning, because I had those really good morning and night routines. Okay. Definitely join clubs. I cannot stress this enough. If I was to go back into my junior year, I would join clubs. I do cheer in the winter time, but I definitely could have joined more clubs during spring, fall, so if you have that opportunity, I definitely suggest that you join clubs, not only to build your high school resume, but you make more friends. It's really good for networking, and when you join clubs of things that you're interested in, you get to learn more about things. So I definitely just recommend bringing yourself out there, because this is your high school. You want to make sure that you have a good experience and just get involved as best as possible. Also, to build your high school resume, do not forget to do those volunteer hours. So I know in some schools, like, they really push for that, but if your school does not push for that, I'm going to tell you to do it, because it is really important to get those hours collected to build your high school resume and just to be involved in your community overall. You want to make sure that you have a name in your community and that you're helping out, because why wouldn't you want to do that? You will probably want to do things like feeding the homeless, reading to kids in the library, stuff like that. Anything that counts as community service is so good. If you didn't start already your freshman and sophomore year, definitely do it now. Okay, my next tip of advice is to build relationships with your teachers. If you don't already have relationships with your teachers from your freshman and sophomore year, I definitely recommend building those relationships now, because if you plan on going to college, those letters of recommendation will need to be in check. You're going to need them at the beginning of your senior year. Don't be a stranger to your teachers. Like, make sure they know your name. Make sure you say hi to them in the hallway. Just like, be respectful, be friendly. Not to use them for letters of recommendations. Of course, that's definitely a benefit, but you also just want to be like friendly to your teacher, especially if you like them, if they're cool. Yeah, build relationships with your teachers. I know a lot of these tips are about preparing for college. I'm going to drop another one. Start applying for scholarships right now. There are a lot of scholarships that are curated just for juniors, and if I was to go back, I would definitely have started applying for scholarships right now, because who doesn't want extra money for college? Definitely apply for scholarships. When I tell you, if you just look up in Google, look up on your search bar, there are like thousands of different scholarships that you can start applying to right now. Yeah, it will just definitely benefit your future, so make sure you apply for those. Hopefully all this stuff isn't overwhelming, but to keep yourself, sane, definitely use an organizer. Any type of calendar, organizer, to-do list will help you a lot. In my junior year, I just went to my notes app and I just had like a little checklist of things I had to do every day, and it really helped me. Like, I can just literally open my phone, click done when I get something done, and it will just take a whole bunch of stress off my chest. So I suggest that you create a to-do list or some sort of planner to help you organize everything that you have to do so that you don't get overwhelmed or forget something last minute. Okay, so the last piece of advice that I have, and it is very important, is to have fun. Junior year can definitely be stressful if you make it stressful, but if you use your resources and if you know how to organize properly, you are going to be a-okay. Just make sure that you have your priorities in check. Don't go to that party or don't go to that football game if you know that you have assignments to do. You always want to think about your future first, because if you plan on doing something after high school, junior year is that time to really build yourself up. Other than that, if you already have everything in check, go have your fun. Don't always just be cooped up in the house studying and just stressing over assignments. You want to make sure that you have a balance. Life is all about balance. Alright guys, I hope that you took a lot of advice from this video, and I hope that helped some of the upcoming juniors for class of 28. I hope you guys have a great junior year. Stay tuned for more back to school content. I'm going to be creating a lot of videos because I am going into my senior year, so stay tuned for that. But yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any more questions or comments, don't be afraid to comment down below and I will answer them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy your school year. Bye guys.